'Cause I'm in the mood for love. Bum, 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 bum. Hi, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers and I am the Scruffy Trader. And why am I scruffy? Take a look at that desk and have a wild guess, but also take a look at those charts, because I might be scruffy, but my charts and the way I make a living is incredibly clean. And we're going to explore today how you may start on the same path that I'm on. So, got the coffee, because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee, and we'll begin. So on this journey, what are we going to chat about? Well, we're going to talk about the basics of how to start being a trader. Because when you see it on social media, land of make-believe, or what you guys call Instagram, it's portrayed as being as easy as riding a bike. It's not. It's not even close. So when you see all these fake Lamborghinis and the mansions that they've rented for a day off Airbnb, they're sucking you into a lifestyle that doesn't really exist. And there's an ulterior motive behind all of that. Because these guys, they're not really teaching you to be a trader. They're just teaching you how to empty your bank account. But with that said, the trading community is a good one if you find the right people. And that's part of what we're going to discuss today. But anyway, let's break it down into little steps and see what you need to do to become a trader. And the reason why I'm going through this video today is because I get emailed nearly every single day. What do I do? Where do I start? And there's lots of videos on the charts and what an indicator is and things like this, but there isn't many about what you actually need to do in the background before you even get to look at an indicator. So I'm going to try and explore that today. Okay, so just think of this as going back to school, because that's essentially what you're doing. If you're starting a new skill, you have to start at the beginning and work your way through till you become proficient at it. Just like an apprenticeship. And I'll use an apprenticeship as an example. Because when you go to school, you're there for a number of years to gain an education. You then maybe go to college for a couple of years to expand on that education. Then you're off into your career. Now, whatever your chosen path is, you have to learn it. And let's just say you want to be a mechanic. Why do I want to be a mechanic? Because when I was at school, I was technically minded and I love cars. Excellent. And you found yourself a job at a Mercedes dealership and it's your first day. And you think, fantastic. I'm going to get under that bonnet and I'm going to have a really good time and I'm going to drive that wonderful car. Do you really think somebody like me that's taken in my very expensive car wants somebody dealing with it that's been there one day? Of course you don't. You know, you want a craftsman to work on that car. And to become a craftsman takes time. So the chief mechanic is going to look at you and say, right, over in that corner, clean the tools. I don't want to clean the tools. I don't care what you want, son. You're here for the first day in that corner and clean the tools. There's a bunch of screwdrivers, I want them shiny. And you're thinking to yourself, well, but I'm a mechanic. You're not. You just know what a mechanic is. You're just learning. So you clean the tools. And as you're cleaning these screwdrivers, you start to understand the difference between them. There's a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a torque screwdriver. And they all have specific jobs. And now when you finally get to look under the bonnet and you see a bolt that needs undoing, you know which screwdriver to use because you cleaned them 1,000 times. And trading is no different. Because as I've just said, you see loads of videos on there's this strategy, there's this indicator, unless you actually know what they are, they're meaningless. And they also have to be used in the right conditions. So for argument's sake, I show you what a moving average is, and I put it into a range bound market. It's useless. It'll just tear you apart. It'll ripsaw so much you wouldn't know whether you're coming or going. But then I could give you an RSI and put it into that same market, and it'll be your best friend. But if I move the RSI into a trending market, it's useless. But the moving average would be perfect. So it's knowing the right tool for the right job. All right, and that's why you've got to go back and understand and learn what it is. So the first thing you need to learn is what the markets are, and that'll determine what type of trader you're going to be. Okay, so the markets are broken up into 4 key areas, if you like. You have Forex, which is currency trading, and you've probably done that when you've been on holiday. I live in the UK, and say I'm going on holiday to Florida. I need to buy US dollars to have some spending money. So I'll take my pounds, go to the post office, exchange them for some dollars, go off, have a jolly old time of things, run around Disney World like a child, and then come home. And I might have some of that spending money left over. So I need to change it back to British pounds. So there's a currency trade. You've then got what's called indices. And an indices is a basket of companies that hold up a country's economy. In other words, the top companies of the country. Again, I'm in the UK, so my indices is the FTSE. FTSE 100 is the main one. There's also the FTSE 250, but it's mainly the FTSE 100. And that's made up of the top 100 companies of the UK. If you live in Germany, it's the DAX, and it's made up of the top 30 companies, but essentially the same thing. Then you have commodity traders, trade oil, coffee, sugar, orange juice for that matter. And again, you're just looking at what that product group is and trying to understand what affects its market. And then you boil it down to share trading, where you would buy a share in an individual company. So if you like Facebook, you might buy shares in Facebook, and you're looking at the value of that company to see whether it goes up or down. Share dealing, right? So once you've decided which route you're going to take, you can then start understanding the terminology within the markets, and that's something you'll have to get to grips with for the next part of your journey. Okay, because in the trading world they talk a strange language, and it's full of acronyms, and words to Joe Blogs on the street mean nothing. For argument's sake, if you think a market is going up and you said to Mrs. Jones in the street, oh, the FTSE's up today, she'd understand that because you've said it's up. But to a trader you would say, oh, I'm going long, because you've put a position on and you expect that to rise. And if you said that to Joe Blogs in the street, it'd look like as if you're stupid. And especially if you think the market is going down and you say, I've gone short. But it's just the way the markets are, it's just the way they speak. And it's the same of any job, they all have terminology. So you need to just get to grips a little bit of the terms. You don't need to know it all, but when you find your way into a forum, which is the next bit, and just literally have a chat with the people that are there and get a basic understanding from people that are already working around and within the industry, and they'll help you, because there is a lot of good guys. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of idiots as well, and boy have I come across them. And normally there's an ulterior motive, as I said earlier on, and I'll touch on that in a second. But learn to filter out the good and bad. You know, if you're stuck, ask. Plenty of people will help you. If you need a group, by all means come down to my group. I have a little group on Facebook, easy to find, the Scruffy Trader, and it's just shared learning, a couple of guys having a little chat and talk plain English to each other as well, which is the main thing. But there's plenty. But wherever you find yourself, just ask, and there'll always be somebody to help you. Okay, but remember, there is no shortcuts, because when you're looking for these communities, you'll also find a lot of charlatans, and they'll be selling signal services, courses, strategies, etc. And I'll break that down right now. Should you buy a signal service? The short answer is no. They're not worth the paper they're written on. 98% of them are loss makers, because the people that are dishing them out are just idiots and they're thinking to make a quick buck. The 2% that are good teach you nothing, because all they're doing is they're saying, get in here, get out there, I'll make you a fortune. If that's what you want, you're not a trader, and you never will be. You're better off putting your money into an index tracker and paying into it each month and let the bank do the work, and your money's safe. Alright? And the other side of it is, what if they do decide not to give any signals anymore? You're left high and dry. You've learnt nothing, and now your monthly subscription isn't worth anything. So there's no point. Courses. Should you buy a course? Personally, I would say no, simply because I've read a lot of courses and they're no different than what you can get free. In 5-minute Google search, you'll find a course that'll teach you, because they always just tell you the basics. They tell you what a candlestick is, they tell you what a chart is, tell you what the time frames are. They'll touch on basic top-down analysis and basic technical analysis. You can find all of this free. No need to pay for it. Should you buy a strategy? Again, strategy's a little bit different, because some people, they might know the understanding of the technical indicators, etc., but they can't really put it together. So I can vaguely see why you would buy a strategy over a course. But again, don't be sucked in, because some of these strategies, there's plenty out there and they charge a fortune for them. There's a one doing the rounds in the UK at the moment. We'll just call it Wobbly Trader for argument's sake, and he's constantly saying about trading without emotion. It's a rules based, and it's crap. I've seen it and I've worked it out. All it is a reversion to the 9 o'clock close of the European markets, and it's not worth £600. It really is not, and its hit rate is at best flipping a coin. So just be a bit careful with some of the strategies that are out there. But again, 5-minute search on Google, you'll find a strategy, and all strategies work, believe it or not. It's the discipline that doesn't work, because when it fails you think, bugger, this doesn't work no more, I'll try something else. And that's your Achilles heel, hopping from system to system. Find a system and stick with it. Okay. And then finally, you've got mentorship. Should you pay for a mentor? Yes and no. In the beginning, not so much, because you're on a massive learning curve, and all of that learning can be found free. As you get better, yes, there's nothing wrong with having a mentor. I speak to people that I need help with as well, and it's no different than, say, Tiger Woods playing golf. We all know this man is the best at what he does, but he still has a coach and he still takes lessons. So there's nothing too wrong with a mentor, because that's slightly different than buying a course and a strategy. Okay, but this is far down the line. Okay, you don't need it at the start, because there is no shortcuts in trading. So following on from having a chat in the forums and gathering a little bit of information, because that's ultimately what you're doing, you're just fact finding at this moment. The same as if you were going to set a business up. In order to set a business up, you have to do a business plan, and part of that plan is fact finding. What area am I going to work in? Have I got the tools? Have I got the resources? All of this. And that's what this process has been about. So you found the basic strategy, you understand the terminology, and you have a market that you wish to work in. So now you need to put it into a little bit of practice. So open up a demo account with a broker, but then treat that demo as if it's real money. Okay, and what I mean by that is just put small position sizes on. Because when you go to a live market, I'll be advising you to put a small position on. And it'll get you used to dealing with the same amounts of money. Practice your strategy for 2 or 3 weeks and write it down. Keep a journal of it. The date that you opened it, time of entry and exit, how much you made, how much you lost. Did you follow your rules of the strategy? And what was the market conditions at the time? Okay, so keep a journal like that. But also have a written business plan that will help you with your strategy. And that business plan can be as simple as, I'm only going to trade 7 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. I'm only going to have 2 open positions at one time. I'm only going to risk 2% of my capital per trade per time. Okay, and then have reasons as to why you're going to get in and reasons as to why you're going to get out, and have it written down. And then you can see in your journal whether or not you followed those little rules, and those rules will also help you as a trader. And do this till you're comfortable, and you've always got the safety net that it's a demo, so you're not losing anything at the moment. So if you get it wrong, don't panic, but understand why you got it wrong. And once you've done this, you then have to move forward. So now you've done your demo and you've got an understanding of the markets and you've honed a little bit of a strategy that you think will work for you. It's time to go live. Now this is where the game changes straight away. And I mean straight away. And my advice to help you with this, no matter of your net worth, start with the smallest position size you can. Because your emotions start kicking in levels that you've never experienced before. And you need to start and learn how to control these emotions. Because you'll swing from high to low constantly. And if you're dealing with large numbers, it'll drive you mental. So keep it small and keep it realistic. Set yourself a simple target. Start with £500, $500, just something small, and double it. But take your time in doubling it. Don't go for the big swing straight away. You know, might take you 10, 20 trades to double this account. And it'll teach you discipline. You know, stick to the rules that you made. You're only going to have 2 live trades, etc., etc. And then understand how that works. Okay. And as your account grows, your emotions will start swinging around like there's no tomorrow. And you'll hear me say it in many videos. It's the mind game that's hard, not the charts. Because when you see money on the table, you'll grab it, but that trade mightn't be over yet. But your instinct is to take it. So you'll find you have lots of little winners, but on the other side of the coin, your losers are quite big. And that's because it's hard to admit that you're wrong. And also, you know, when you click that button to close that trade off, you're giving money away. And that's something you don't want to do. However, losing is part of the game. And you have to come to accept it. And once you've accepted that sometimes you've got to give something back, it starts getting easier. And you'll see your account starting to grow and grow. And it's funny, because everybody talks about having an edge. And an edge is really just something that makes you better at what you do. Okay. My edge is actually knowing how to get out. And not so much when I'm winning, because I use scale points for me to get out of a trade. I actually have defined targets, if you like, and the market will look after itself. It's knowing how to get out when I'm wrong. So I keep my losses relatively small in relation to the account size. And that's my edge. You know, money management, simple as that. But when I first started, long time ago, I didn't have any of these rules in place, and my P&L would race around like there's no tomorrow. And it only started to grow once I controlled that. Okay, so if you take anything away from this video, money management is number one. And above all of the charting and everything you know, money management is king. All right, simple as that. You know, win more when you're right than when you're wrong. Keep that in mind, you'll be okay. And the last part of the journey is just take your time, enjoy it. It is a journey, and we're all trying to get to the same destination. We're just using different roads. Enjoy it, because the industry is wonderful and the rewards are there if you want it. But as with any job and career, as we've just discussed over the last few minutes, it takes time to get there. And once you're proficient at what you're doing, you get a pay rise because you're good at it. And that's how the world works, or at least how it works in my world. So there we go. You got any questions, by all means drop them in the comments below. I'll try and answer them in plain speak. If you like trading and this sort of content, please subscribe. It genuinely helps me and motivates me to do more of this. And if you want a video on a specific topic, just let me know and I'll make it for you. So with all that said, remember guys, do what you love, the money will follow. I'll see you in the next one.